Hey, man. Good evening. Good evening from Bangkok, brother. How are you? Morning. QUBT with an offering this morning. The most cruel thing I've seen today. Hims. That's why you don't want to own stocks in a range. Come on. Lay down. Kenny, good morning. Yeah, that wasn't a good note from Novartis. Novo says they're concerns about their illegal mass compounding and deceptive marketing. That's not too good. Yeah, what a cruel move, man. Hims, that was not very nice. For anybody who might have been in that sucks. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Swing Trade. Morning, Doug. Morning, Isaac. How are you guys? JJ, how are you? Kenny, good morning. You know, gold's not really crowded and it's been acting a little bit odd lately. Silver is a bit crowded. Love hearing that, Naylor. Happy to be helpful. Brad, good morning. QUBT private placement. Yeah, the fact that anybody would give them money just kind of lets you know the market we're in. Yeah, the fact that anybody would take $200 million of their own money at $14.25 a share when they don't do anything meaningful at all, just kind of lets you know that maybe the Feds need to raise interest rates again. That's kind of where we're at, guys. It's kind of where we're at. We'll see. I don't trust that name as far as I can throw it personally. They make no money, you know. Claims to fame, and you make no money. This VST's been acting awesome. I would be selling it as quickly as I saw the news. I don't like to hope something comes back. Like, let's say you own shares and you were sleeping, and then all of a sudden it gaps below your average. I'm out. Right? I wake up in the morning and I lick my wounds and I'm gone. Like if for whatever reason you owned it at 58 and then all of a sudden you wake up and you realize it's at 50, right? You don't hope it comes back. It very well could, but it could also get a lot worse. And you don't want to be in the boat where you become someone who likes to hope and pray. AMD's acting well. Blood Moon. I think AMD's been acting a lot better. I keep thinking that this move above the 200 simple moving average is real. That AMD is going to establish itself above the 200 and keep going, but it's not going to be so easy where it just goes and doesn't chop around some. On the flip side, I really don't like the action in a name like Google, right, where it re-loses the 200 on really big volume. Although we've seen these ugly dumps where it has pickup in volumes and it's just grinded higher from there, right? Could this be something very similar? I suppose so. But I don't like when something loses the 200 on this kind of volume. Way too much volatility to be comfortable out here. So crude oil was up for just a moment, but this thing already closed its offering. It's up 5 points in the morning. Good Lord. Circle. 266 this morning for Circle. Holy shit. Circle. Core weave. Yeah, getting there. Yeah, Tesla looks interesting, but has to get above that 20 simple moving average. Dash making a move this morning. Yeah, this one's annoying. I once had like a 210 average on this thing and it shook me out the next day. I even took smaller size and tried to widen out my stop and it just didn't work. Even that didn't work. Oh man, it would only be getting worse if you were sitting in here. No, Doug. Same thoughts on Tesla. I like this consolidation. This consolidation is very healthy after this volatility. Big move down, big move right back up. You know, this consolidation is perfect. It's exactly what I like to see. Could use a early morning coffee. Does Celsius have earnings coming up? They just had them. Yeah, they look pretty good. They're in a nice little uptrend. Yeah, Celsius is definitely on has been in a little uptrend. We'll see. I don't really know where to get involved in this thing personally. I do not see a setup just yet. God, I'm tired and I slept good. I hate when that happens. AMD does look good to me too. Yeah, Ollie's choppy, but these discount store names, yeah, this one's at a new high already. These discount store names look pretty good. It's not just Ollie, but man, this price action is just terrible. I would be not a happy owner if I were an Ollie. Just shitty price action. Oh, even Novo coming down too, huh? Hmm. Yeah, the Robo Taxi event might have been muted, but their stock didn't really go down. It's actually gapping up this morning. Yeah, it just kind of feels like the market just needs still some more digestion. If you look at like that NQ, we've done nothing for a month. I mean, this is just terrible action. Anybody trying to get repositioned in stocks since the middle of May, it's been very difficult. Other than outside of ARC for me, it's been tough. Yeah, I did. It was a crappy finals, game 7, because Halliburton got hurt. No, I won't be buying Tesla through Friday's highs. The one thing I didn't like about KLAC was that it rejected its all-time highs on some pickup in volume. But could just base here, and then eventually over 896 looks pretty good for a breakout to all-time high. I had TEM as well, and I finally sold it all too. So, and I'm glad I did. I'd like a 64s and change average. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I do like the pickup in volume. But again, it's a lot of things are market dependent out here. I mean, GRR could move without the market, but you want to just be cautious, man. This market's been very, very difficult to get situated in. So if you're going to take something like that, just make sure you size it properly. Yeah, they're still beating up HIMS. This is why you shoot first, ask questions later. If you could just, you just become someone who hopes and prays. Like I said, when I woke up first thing in the morning, I saw this thing like at $52 or something, $54, and I would have been scrambling to hit the exit button. Yeah, and it's not just Uber. It is not just Uber that's shown relative weakness. Like these names that broke down below their 20 simple moving average on volume on May 29th, right? So you're kind of just, hanging in there, hanging in there, hanging in there. Then boom, big pickup in volume below the 20 simple moving average. You've been pretty weak since then. And then you're now kind of trying to break below the 50 here. And MSTR is the exact same deal, right? MSTR might as well be the same damn chart. You're kind of just hanging in there above the 20, and then boom, big pickup in volume underneath the 20, and then absolutely nothing from there. And lower we go. I did not get into Rocket Lab. No. Could go higher, but I'm trying to buy a little less speculative names at the moment, even though those seem to be what's working. Yeah, yep, I agree. That QUBT news, or sorry, that HIMS news, that partnership news is exactly what kicked off the initial move. So, yeah, we shouldn't be too surprised that this is what's going on. Yeah, QUBT, yeah, private placement. Someone's making a donation of their money because this thing's going to go back into singles, I'm sure. Hims, holy granolis. I'm already short Rigetti, so this move on QBT is just, it's only helpful. MBIS looks good, just still touch extended from the 50. Yeah, I wouldn't be a buyer here. Let me look. I'll tell you in a second. This thing is, well, it's actually not even that bad. It's only 5.5 times its ATR from the 50, so it's really not that bad anymore. Now you're just looking for some kind of a breakout, is what I think. All right. I'm not going to be shorting Hims. I don't like to chase anything, and this is quite the chase. CEG looks good. I think VST's been acting a little bit better. Even better than GEV while it's been consolidating. I think the best of the bunch is VST. I would not take Dash here, and if I did, it would be on smaller size. A bit extended, in my opinion. Yeah, just a touch extended. Yeah, WMB looks pretty good. Big base. But again, this is an energy stock, so be a little careful with WMB. If you see crude oil pulling back in a big way today, you're not going to gain much traction on WMB. Yeah, I have thoughts on quantum. I think they're shit, and I think they're eventually going lower. You got to make money, man. If it doesn't make any money, it doesn't make any sense. Also, not to mention QUBT just did a private placement today. So, lower they go. Lower. I'm assuming this one's going to go lower, and they all look like they're going to go low. I could easily be wrong, but I don't understand people's infatuation with these total shit stocks. They make no money, dude. The kids in my neighborhood shoveling their driveway in winter, going around the neighborhood make more money than QUBT. Got to make money. Otherwise, you're just a science experiment. Yeah, OUST's is extended. Yeah, way too extended. I wouldn't use the word a bit. It's super extended. It's 13 times its average true range from the 50, man. You're almost supposed to be out of this thing entirely at this point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trailing a little piece if you still own some from 10, but you should be out of this thing almost completely at this point. Semis still look pretty good, man. Semis still look pretty good. Hmm. It's actually pretty good news for some of these nuclear names. New York plans to construct a nuclear facility. It's pretty good. Thoughts on Rocket Lab and Carvana? Let's take a peek at Carvana. It's been a few days. Love the bounce back. Love how quickly it bounced back. Let's see if this thing can just get above its 20 and then tighten for a day or two. And Rocket Lab, nice move out on Friday too. A little pullback here, but nothing too serious. No, I'm selling right away. When I read news like that, I'm out as fast as possible without thinking twice. Sedge is totally crap. It's in a solar group, and the group sucks. Iron is likely gapping down this morning. Oh, it's actually gapping up. Did they have news? No. All right. So this is pretty strong and on a pickup in volume. And what about cores? What about HUT? Iron looks to be the strongest of the bunch, man. You got your eyes on the right one. You got your eyes on the right one. Interesting. But yeah, as for Sedge, I mean, this is just terrible action. Look at this massive gap down. And then it's not really doing anything. Do you really care to own a stock that's been doing this for the last, oh, I don't know, 10 months? Not really. Same with like an EMPH. If its group were better, then, but this group is terrible. I mean, EMPH just saw a new 52-week low 3 days ago, 3 trading days ago. Oops. CRMD. Yeah, just super thin. Only trades $20 million a day. Can't really do anything with that. CoinState still hangs in there really nicely too. Very nice. Some of these oil and gas stocks are up this morning. Interesting. Nine. CUSA. No, man. Um, I never really got pressure from my mom. So I guess the question you're asking is if I ever got outside pressure to quit trading. Here's the reality. With when I started trading, I started to find success fairly quickly. So I never really got pressured from family to stop doing it because I was already making money. But if you're not making money, then one of the things that I would consider if I were you is, do it like have your job and then do it on every other waking hour that you have, right? So, but never really be, you know, like don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do, dude. As long as your bills are paid and it's not taking food off the table, there's nothing wrong with studying how to trade properly, even if it's with really, really small amount of money, because nobody tells you to stop going to school, do they? Because it's not making you money. In fact, you can go to college and it costs you a shitload, and then you end up making nothing when you come out of it. So, don't ever let family and friends tell you to stop studying capital markets. I mean, just because they have no success doing it doesn't mean you'll have no success doing it. I mean, that's just the reality. Just because somebody else sucks at it doesn't mean you'll suck at it, or they've never seen anybody make money doing it. You got to learn to prove the people wrong, man. Use that as a bit of motivation and fuel to, stay up late nights, study, and do the hard work that nobody else wants to do. Nobody wants to do stuff like this. Hold on. Like study your movers. Nobody, of course, wants to sit up and spend hours and hours of their life making a model book, right? But that's exactly what I did, and study exactly how stocks move. And then you have them and sit there late nights and you got yourself a model book on how it is stocks move, stage analysis, Stan Weinstein, study the greats, the people who came before you, make these, laminate them, print them, write exactly their catalyst that made the move, etc. Do the hard work, man. And don't listen to people who tell you you can't. People who tell you you can't, family and friends, you need to eliminate them from your life too. Because I know that's not your parents telling you that, because your parents should support you. But if it's anybody else in your life, I don't care if they're family, they need to go. They need to get cut out. Negative energy doesn't work. So surround yourself with people who support you in your dreams. Well, I'm just watching my typical watch list, William. Not my typical, but my nightly watch list. And from there, I'm looking to be patient at the open because everything's really gapping down on my screens. And I don't know if it's going to be bought up or I don't know if it's going to stay heavy, right? I'm seeing the energy names gap up a bit, but I'm looking at names like SMCI, gapping down a bit this morning. Your quantum stocks, your QBTs are gapping down this morning. Your HIMS is down quite a bit this morning. Um, so, a bunch of stocks that were acting pretty well. Even your crypto MSTRs gapping down this morning. Yeah, CEG is flagging a little bit. VST has been a bit stronger. But I don't know if names are going to have continuation to the downside like Google, or if they're going to have continuation to the upside like an Apple, even though this thing's, kind of been doing nothing for the last few months. So that's just kind of the reality. We don't really know what the hell's going to happen in the morning. So I think just being patient for the first 15 minutes and trying to figure out what the hell's going on is pretty good idea instead of trying to rush back into things. Yeah, I don't see a short spot here on Hims. Way too extended now to the downside so quickly. You have to think about one time Lance heard Lance say, and I still hear Lance say, what's your expected value? What's your expected value on this trade? Well, shorting Hims here, the expected value for now is pretty much out the window. Maybe you'd have to wait for some kind of a pop or a consolidation and then failure. But from here, um, there's not a ton. Not a ton. I wouldn't go piling into it. Not on the short side. Before you know it, you'll get squeezed right back out just because there's a short float on there. So, yeah, I would say keep that in the back of mind before you go piling in there. Yeah, there's not a ton for me to focus on here this morning. Patience, I think. Well, what I would like to how do I judge if a stock is bought up? Well, a stock will maybe gap down in the morning, and you just want to see if it at least go back to where it closed on Friday. So it'll try to go from red to green. So that's the first. Our stock's going to get bought up, and it's not just one; it's the basket of names that you're watching, right? So there are a handful of stocks that are down this morning. I don't know what this means, but if you're asking if I'd consider buying Hims here, no, no, I don't. I don't buy stocks that are getting a colonoscopy. I like to buy stocks coming out of clean consolidations. Hims is just super volatile, and I don't get involved in stuff like that. I like my money too much. Oh, that's why SMCI is down. Proposed offering ASTS is down a little bit because of sector downgrade to sector perform. SMCI $2 billion offering, QUBT private placement, HIMS loss of oh man, what's going on out there? Loss of partnership. $260 price target for Dash. No, I like that entry for a lab, but it just gave you zero cushion to hold it over the weekend. So I really like that entry there, Red Roof, because breakouts hadn't been working. So you got to try something. Um, yeah, AMD looks nice, but let it establish itself above the 200. I do like the Tesla breakout, but you and I have different spots for what the Tesla breakout is. I would like to see Tesla break out, and I'm looking at Tesla over the breakout at, when it breaks out. But for me, over Friday's high is not the breakout spot. The breakout spot is 335.50, right? What would make you think that buying it over 332.36 would, or 332.26 would be the high? Sorry, 36. It wouldn't be. It would be the high of this consolidation, which is here, 335.51. If the high is 335.50 and not a penny before. If you buy it over Friday's high, you're still buying it within the range. So 335.51 is the breakout. Not a penny before. Right? Otherwise, if you buy it over Friday's high and you buy it right here, well, you're still buying it within the range. Here's the range. Here's the top of the range. The high of this bar, 611, 335.50. Trust me, it's definitely a top watch. Yeah, GRR is interesting. I mean, again, I don't think it's super special, but good earnings, really, really nice pickup in volume. Looks like it's in a stage 2 uptrend. So yeah, it looks interesting. And well, let's see what the market decides to do today. Oscar, decent chance it fills the gap to the downside. Yeah, maybe. But the stock looks very powerful right now. Don't know that this is one I'd want to look to short personally. When would I get out of my 15% cushion? Well, I would peel into strength, and then I would sell the rest on an ascending moving average. And if you have a 15% cushion, you're basically telling me you own it from like $120. Does that sound about right to you? If you own it from 120, you should just trim and then trail the rest. No, NBIS is less extended. Brother, I will answer a little bit of this more tomorrow if you come back in and re-answer the question. I got to get ready for stream. I appreciate you guys for being here as always. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for asking questions. And I will see you guys in 23 hours. If you guys have questions, write them down, bring them in. I'm happy to help answer and make sense of whatever you guys might have. And I might start waiting before I start answering a few questions in the morning because, a lot of the people will ask about similar names, which is totally fine, but just to only have to answer them once or twice. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning. Trade them well. Don't do anything crazy. Let the market settle at the open.